Hey guys, it's Paul here from Better Call Paul, and just wanted to discuss my position on covered call ETFs, why I'm heavily invested in them, why HHIS is my number one position, and I'm going to reference a little bit some of the comments that Ben Felix made in his last couple of videos. I just finished watching his last video, and so just so you know, this is not sponsored. Harvest is not paying me. I do have a lot of their products. Would I consider being sponsored by them? Of course I would, right? Everybody has bills to pay. Everybody has to make money. You guys know that Ben Felix is CEO at PWL. Do you think he does that for free? Right? Do you think he sits down with his clients and advises them and manages their money at no charge? Of course not. Of course there's a fee. And the other thing is that I'm wondering is somebody like Ben Felix, I didn't hear what his fee was. I didn't hear what the requirements were. For example, if I have a portfolio of $10,000, is he going to sit down with me for a couple of hours and advise me on how to invest? Right? What's he going to charge me? 1-2% of 10 grand and make nothing? Right? So I think, we all have to keep in mind that people talking about covered call ETFs are not the only people who need to make money. Everybody needs to make money. And in my personal experience, I had a financial advisor, right? I didn't have to pay him anything out of pocket. He didn't charge me an hourly fee or anything like that. He didn't charge me 1% of my portfolio, but all he did was sell me mutual funds. And those mutual funds had fees, right? We all know about the trailing commissions, the trailing fees, the upfront fees, all the different costs involved in having mutual funds. So where was the fiduciary responsibility, to put me into something that would be more cost effective with better results? I think everybody is in this for themselves, and you can't just point at people who are talking about covered call ETFs and saying that we're doing it with bad intentions, like we're bad people trying to mislead you. I'm not trying to mislead anybody, okay? I've had a financial advisor. I've had mutual funds. I missed out on the bull run, the bull market from 2009 to 2019. My financial planner never advised me to buy Apple stock, Amazon stock, Tesla, Bitcoin. Never advised me to buy anything that I could have made a lot of money on. It was always to put my money into mutual funds with moderate returns and good fees for the company he worked for. So guys, if you take a look at HHIS, the 52-week low is $8.27, which, considering it started at $12 a share, is pretty bad. When you bought in at $12 and it dropped down that much. But had you dollar cost averaged, or had you started a position when it was at $8.27 or a little above that, today it's at $13.63. So you would have made an over 60% gain. Now, I know you guys are going to say, well, why don't you just hold the underlying stock? The underlying stock outperformed, okay? And as you know, Ben Felix was talking about single stock risk. Okay, I'm not saying that I'm smart enough to pick which stocks I should own, right? But I'm willing to trust the experts who put together a portfolio like HHIS, put 15 different stocks in it, and together they all do well. So right now, HHIS, the 1 year is the 1 year return, not including distributions or dividends, is 10%. And one of the other things, guys, that I really like about covered call ETFs that you don't necessarily get with growth stocks or with stocks where you have to sell in order to create your own distribution. I just like that every month HHIS pays me a dividend, and I can choose whether I want to spend that money, right? I can choose if I want to reinvest that money. I can do both, right? I could spend half, I could reinvest half, any way I want to do it, okay? And the other thing is that a lot of times what I'll do is, once I have a position like HHIS with almost 5,000 shares, I can take the dividend or the distribution and I can reinvest that into something else. So I can create a new position. And I find that easy to do as opposed to having to figure out when's the right time to trim. You know, my stocks are up 40%, 50%, 60%. Is now the time to trim them and reinvest the money into something else, right? Next thing you know, the stock goes up another 100% and you realize you made a mistake. So this way I don't have to worry about doing stuff like that. The other thing is that companies like Harvest are constantly trying to improve their products. And as you all know, they just introduced 4 more, the ETFs, Circle, Reddit, Robinhood, and SoFi. And those 4 will eventually be added into HHIS. So as far as I know, and I believe, the distribution is going to go up. I believe that it could go as high as 30 cents. I'm not sure, but we'll find out, I think, in the next month or two. So in that case, my income's going to increase. And it's hot out here, guys. It's way too hot. Anyways, guys, that's about it. You know, I just think that there's more than one way to skin a cat. There's more than one way to make money. I don't see a problem with covered call ETFs. Oh, the other thing I was going to say, guys, is that I was watching Ben Felix's video, and he was explaining how, you know, covered calls work and how you're capping your upside. But he never mentioned the fact that a lot of these Canadian covered call ETFs are not writing on 100% of the portfolio. So you do have opportunity to catch some of the upside on part of the, like 100% of the upside on up to, say, 50% or more of the portfolio. And the fund managers have discretion to, you know, increase or decrease the amount that they're writing on the portfolio based on market conditions. So I think that's very important as well. And I know there's definitely a lot of people in this community who are enjoying these income products and doing very well at it. So guys, keep to it. And until next time, bye for now.